This is John Black, Super Chemist, on the new channel, John Black Super Living. Again, I'm going to skip my book. I was going to read the first chapter, maybe the half chapter in the book. But as long as I can have an idea about it, it can help somebody, I'd rather do that than plug some book that I haven't even finished writing yet. So anyways, this is about the why game. And I know for me, this is this is 1/3 of my problem probably in life, back in the day, was that why, playing the why game. And by playing the why game, I mean, and if you're a depressed person and you're laying in bed or whatever, I'm not saying everybody is doing it, but most people that are depressed are playing this game. It's just a basic head game with yourself. And for me, it was why about everything. For you, it might be, why is my spouse cheating on me? Why did my parents beat me? Why did they molest me? Why did they do this or do that? But it's always about why someone is doing something, okay? And for me, I was brought up kind of a bubble, you know what I mean? And what I considered a cult, although most people probably wouldn't consider it that. But everyone is great, everyone is good, and that's a lie, okay? If you want to be mentally healthy, you can't lie to yourself, you know what I mean? And for me, it was why are people doing things they're doing, man? If they, that's not the definition of love. For me, a lot of it was religion, you know what I mean? Because I see in the Bible just the terrible, terrible things that God does. And then my mother would be like, see, that's the definition of love. That's loving God. I'm like, what are you talking about? How was that, And I had to, why are my parents crappy? Why was my first wife, why is she cheating on me? Why doesn't she care? Why doesn't this person care? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to stop that game, man. Because just like I knew back then why. I knew why my parents were crappy, why the Bible was like it is, why, just I could go on forever about why things are backwards, like the war on drugs. You want to stop drugs? Well, stop people from molesting and beating and neglecting their kids, and they won't grow up and do drugs. You know what I mean? But instead of stopping the problem, they're trying to punish the victims who are using drugs to get by on life, you know what I mean? Just to get by. That makes no sense. I could just go on forever about how nothing makes sense, okay? But you just can't do that. You have to stop that. You know why. Why are pedophiles pedophiles? Because they're human and they're crap, okay? And the main fact is, and I know I want my videos to be about positivity, I don't want them to be about negative crap. But in this instance, you almost have to accept this negativity to be healthy. And the fact is, humans are, by definition, mainly garbage. And I'm not saying that there's 7 billion people on this planet. Not all 7 billion are garbage. Okay, it can't be. There has to be a sprinkle here and a sprinkle there of good people, you know what I mean? But you have to realize, and that's the whole, like my ex-girlfriend, she does this. She plays the why game. Why? She watches TV about these horrible people doing horrible things. And the same thing happened to her as a child. And then she sits there and says, while she watches the TV, why? Why is that person doing that? Why is that? You know why. He's doing it because he's a piece of garbage. That's the only, you know what I mean? You have to accept that. I could not accept it, and that's mainly what put me in a nut house so many times, is I would go out into society, and I would it makes no sense. Nothing makes sense. You know what I mean? But it makes sense if you admit to yourself that most humans are garbage. I hate to say that because, like I said, that's not a positive thing to think. It's not a positive thing to say. But you have to live in reality if you want to be mentally stable. You know what I mean? I had to wake up and accept, my father was a piece of garbage. My mother was just stupid. You know what I mean? My ex-wife was just young and using me. She was a user. She used all the other guys she had after me. You know what I mean? It's just people are garbage, and to expect that they're not, or when they disappoint you, to go lay in bed and cry about it, or stop your life and think, why? If you're say a male and your wife is cheating on you, or the other way around, you're a woman and your husband's cheating on you. You don't have to ask why. You can sit there all day long and say, why? The reason why is because they're garbage, okay? If they cheated, if they were normal, good people, they would have told you, hey, this isn't going good, and I'm going to start screwing around. That, even though they're hurting you still, they're being honest, they're being, people can't help the way they feel. If they don't love you anymore, they don't love you anymore. But for you to sit there and say, why doesn't he or she love me? It's just a waste of time, because you know the answer. It's because not everybody loves everybody. They don't have that chemical reaction in their brain giving them that dopamine effect, them endorphins, to get them high, to make them love you. That's all there is to it. It's just a chemical thing. That's all love is, really, basically. Or at least any love that is below 5-10 years is basically built on a chemical reaction in your brain. You know what I mean? But for you to sit there and say, let's say you were molested or beaten or neglected as a child or whatever, you can sit there all day and say, why? But you know why. And truly down in your heart, everybody knows why. It's because those people are garbage. You need to stop right then and there. That's one of the main things, is when you start asking that question, why? Like, let's say, you can't do nothing about the past, but the future, you have a new boyfriend, new girlfriend, whatever gender you are, whatever, and they cheat on you, say. Once you start asking why about your significant other, that's it. You should end it right then and there. Because they've already proved that they're not good people. And you can sit there and say, well, I'm going to give them another chance, And don't get me wrong, 1 out of 100, you can give them a second chance, and they will succeed, and they will prove that they love you or whatever. But if they loved you in the first place, they wouldn't have done what they did. The definition of love is not cheating on your spouse, not cheating on your significant other. That's the definition of it. So if you're asking why did they cheat, it's because the definition of love is they don't cheat, so they don't love you, obviously. You know the answer. And you can sit around, you can cry about it and say, why? Same with crappy parents or abusive parents. You can sit there the rest of your life saying, why? You know why, okay? They probably had crappy parents. They turned out crappy. And you can change the cycle of crappiness. You know what I mean? By stopping the why game, because if you do the why game, you're just going to push your life into the garbage. You know what I mean? And that's no good. That doesn't stop anything. That just means if you have kids, you're going to be all depressed and continue on some, defect in your mental thinking, to your children. It will never stop. I hate to be negative, but I need people that are going through this like I did to just understand that they just need to accept that there is no asking why. You know the answer why deep down in your heart. You know what I mean? Why did your parents beat you or molest you? Because they're garbage, because they're terrible people. You need to get away from them. You need to never let them in your life again. They're garbage. It's not good, but it's better than you destroying your life, your future life. They've already destroyed your past life. Don't let them take your future life and throw that in the garbage because you want to play the why game. Don't play the why game. Play the I know game. I know you're garbage, and therefore you need to get out of my life. I will find somebody else better than you. That's the game you need to play. Anyways, I hope this helps somebody. I know this is a big problem for a lot of people that are depressed. They're always asking that. I've been in a lot of the houses. I've seen other depressed people. they're always asking that why, you know, and sooner or later you're just going to have to step up and say, I know why. You know, it's because they're garbage and I need to move on. I need to cut them out of my life and move on. Anyways, I also wanted to let people know that, you know, my videos are probably going to be cut down some. I got to go back to work. I have a real bad back, which means pretty much if I ain't working, I need to lay on my back or I'll be out of work for 5 weeks. And if that happens, I'll lose my job. So, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to put videos out. But if you noticed in my last video, or maybe my last 2 videos, I tried to draw pictures. You know, as you watch the video, at least you have something, because this is kind of BS. Just putting the word "why" out there and me talking. I mean, this isn't radio. It's, you know, it's got video. But I can't do that right now. I don't have the time to be standing up and doing, you know, I can't. But in November, when I go back to being unemployed, I will start trying to at least draw pictures or do something so you have some kind of visual thing to look at and be entertained at least in another way. But anyways, always remember, and this is so true, life is what you make it, so you have to make it great. No one else will for you. Anyways, you all have a great day now.